What's up, super friends? I'm Brad, and today it's story time. Now, the year was 1985. I was a fresh-faced 5-year-old boy, and I was familiar with Superman, and I really liked him because I'd seen all the movies. I'd seen Superman flying through the air with his big red cape and his red boots and his underwear on the outside, the big red S on the chest. I really liked Superman as a kid. The heat vision, there was nothing about Superman I didn't like. I liked his hair, I liked the fact that he was really good and really nice to everybody. And he was Superman. He had all the powers. What was there not to like about Superman? Now, my parents were no strangers to the fact that I was a giant Superman fan either, because they would get up in the morning and they'd find me sprawled out on the coffee table in the living room trying to fly, and they'd find me jumping off of higher and higher things in the house and jumping down entire flights of stairs trying to fly. It was no secret that I'm a giant Superman fan even back then. I don't know how many of my mom's towels I tied around my neck and went outside and ran around in the front yard and dirtied. In 1985, the Kenner Toy Company released a line of 3 3/4-inch action figures called the Superpowers Collection. And you could buy Superman and Batman and Robin, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, Flash, and the whole bit. And they were all in one line of figures. Your very favorite heroes and your very favorite villains. All accessible for little kids to finally play with. These figures had an inbuilt power action feature. So for example, when you squeeze Superman's legs, he'd punch. When you squeezed Aquaman's arms, he'd swim. They were really cool. So it was Christmas morning 1985 and I'm opening my presents and I rip open the wrapping paper and what do I see? Dun 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 ta-da! Now this is pretty much exactly what I saw when I opened up my wrapping paper back in 1985 as a 5-year-old. This is a mint on card 1985 Kenner Superpowers Superman, completely intact in an unpunched bubble. And here's one out of the package right here, just for your viewing pleasure. Ha ha! Now this baby ruled my childhood. I am serious. I had this thing and I played with it every single day. Well, not this one. This is another one that I bought off eBay. But I have one of these and I played with it every single day. And I played with it so much, the S, see how it's yellow and red? I wore the red right off of his emblem and it was just yellow, and I used to get my red crayon and try and draw the S back on. I was devastated that my Superman didn't have an S. The paint was all wore off of his feet, his hair, you could see the flesh colored plastic coming through. I loved this thing so much. I remember one time watching Sesame Street, there was this Superman, S is for Superman, that played, and I was so excited to see Superman on Sesame Street that I ran downstairs to my toy box and I grabbed my Superman and I ran back upstairs with it, and by the time I got back up there, it was over and I missed it all, just because I wanted to be holding my Superman while I watched it on Sesame Street. Now when I opened this thing, I could not believe I was holding Superman actually in my hands. I could actually touch and feel Superman. I could fly around with him. I could make my own adventures with my very own Superman. Mind blown. Now the next year in 1986, there was a promotion between Shell gas stations and the Kenner Toy Company, where when you went and you filled up and got your gas, you could pay $1.99 and you could get one of the small carded Kenner Superpowers figures. Like this one right here. You could get Superman, Batman, Red Tornado, Martian Manhunter, Wonder Woman, Robin, Green Lantern, and it was really awesome that you went up, you got your gas, and you paid $1.99 and you drove away with a Superpowers figure. Here's a side-by-side view comparison. Here's the Shell gas station one, here's the original one you would have found in the toy store or in your local Kmart. So the next Christmas, I totally cleaned up with the Superpowers. I got a whole bunch of the ones from the gas station, because every time my dad went and got gas, he would pick me up a figure. I got a Batman, a Robin, a Red Tornado, a Firestorm, Martian Manhunter. I think I got a Lex Luthor that year as well. It was the second best Christmas I have ever had. Now when I was a kid, I didn't understand that every time my dad went and got gas, he couldn't just get me a superpowers figure, because it was a limited promotion. And so after that Christmas, for like a year afterwards, I was like, Dad, you going to get gas at Shell? He'd be like, yes, I'm getting gas. I'd be like, can you get me a superpowers figure? And he'd be like, I don't know if that promotion's on anymore, son. Now, the 30th anniversary of the Superpowers collection rolled around not long ago, and Mattel decided to honor the event by taking their version of Superman and redecoing him on their packaging to look like a Superpowers figure, like this. I know, isn't that cool? And here's the original. So we have both side by side. It was a total homage to the one figure from the one toy line that actually completely changed my life. How cool is that? Here you can see the card backs. So they really wanted to make it look exactly like it as best they could. Just dripping with nostalgia here, boys and girls. Dripping with super nostalgia. Now, Mattel hasn't been the only company to honor the superpowers. Kotobukiya also honored them with a series of statues they did. They did a line of little tiny statuettes, and here's the box, and here's the figure right here. It's not actually an action figure, it's made to look like an action figure. But they did a whole line based on the Superpowers collection, so I had to get this because I am just so nostalgic. If it's got the Superpowers logo on it, I want it. No power action punch with this one though, boys and girls. Just sits on a shelf and collects dust. Anyway, that's about all I have time for today. I just really wanted to share this with you because it's such an important part of my life. And as a vlogger, I share my life with the world. So I wanted you to see this part of me. That I'm not just some guy who's trapped in 1985, but that it's such a special moment to me. There's so much nostalgia. There's so much of a mental hook there that whenever I even see one of these, it takes me right back to when I was 5 years old. And it's important to go back to when you were younger, because when you remember what you were like when you were younger, it helps give you perspective in the present. I really believe that. Anyway, thank you so much for letting me share this moment and this piece of myself with you. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you know me just a little bit better. And I'll see you next time with the next video. Toodaloo!